Hello, everybody. This is Sunday, it's July 11th, and we are heading into week 10 of our online astronomy course. This morning, I don't know if you heard the news, but Sir Richard Branson, who is the owner of Virgin Galactic spacecraft, he rode his ship along with some other people. He rode that ship up into space this morning. So this is the very beginning of the commercial exploration of space. And now people can just buy a ticket and go into space if they want. If you happen to have like a spare $250,000 or so for a ticket, I tell you, I'm not going to be going anytime soon. But if you want to go into space and you don't have enough money for a ticket, you can become a scientist and develop an experiment that would be good to do on a short suborbital flight. That's one that doesn't go into a full orbit. And then you can get a grant, and the grant money can pay for your ticket to go do your experiment if it's a really good one. So I'm not going to do that either. I'll just I watched it on YouTube this morning, and that will be good enough for me. So welcome here. We're heading into Module 10, and Module 10 is all about the stars. And here's this scene that I showed you. I think this was my background on the first week's class. This is a picture of the sky I took in Lassen Volcanic National Park a couple years ago. You can see over my shoulder there is a campfire. That's where my tent site was. And you can see all the stars that are in the sky, as well as the Milky Way. Now, I was going to take a picture of the Milky Way this weekend because it was a new moon yesterday. And I thought, oh, great, the skies will be dark. I'll go out and take a picture of the Milky Way. And the sky was filled with smoke. So, bleh. Not good. So I didn't do that. But still, how do we know what we know about the stars? And that's what this module is all about. And this is going to be one of the most mathematical of the modules, because all we can do is look at the light from these stars, these countless stars that we see in the sky. All we can do is look at the light, and how can we tell anything about what the stars are, what they're made of? Well, we know what they're made of because we can look at their spectral lines. But how can we tell how far away they are, for instance? You know, and it's not until fairly recently that we actually knew how far away a star is. And so let me tell you how we did that. And then I'll tell you when this was first discovered. So we first found out the distance to a star by using a surveying technique. Earth orbits the sun in a year. And so on one side of Earth's orbit, we would look at the position of a nearby star against distant background stars. And then 6 months later, Earth would be on the other side of the sun, and we look at the position of that nearby star against the distant background stars from the other side of Earth's orbit. And that nearby star will have shifted position slightly against the distant background stars due to our seeing it from opposite sides of Earth's orbit. And knowing how big that shift was, we could find out how far away the star is. And you can see how this works for yourself. For instance, if you look on the right side of the screen, just over my shoulder here, there's a bright star, just a tree line. And so what I want you to do is to move away from your screen. So you're about at least 4 feet away from your screen. And let's say you're going to close one eye. Doesn't matter which one it is. So close one eye and then hold your thumb up so it covers up that star on the screen. So right now your thumb is lined up with that single star on the screen, and you're looking out of just one eye, and that represents Earth on one side of the sun. Now, I want you to change eyes, which is like looking at Earth 6 months later from the other side of the sun. And don't move your thumb, but is your thumb still covering that star? And you should see that no, your thumb is no longer covering that star. And that is parallax. And that's how we found out the distance to the stars. And that was fairly recent. It's really amazing. I have an old astronomy book right here. It was published in 1839, so it's almost 200 years old. It's an introduction to astronomy. And here I'll hold up the title page so you can see it perhaps. With the background here, unfortunately, things are fading in and out, so things are looking pretty funky. But there we go. I think you can see what the title page looks like. So this is published in 1839. And this much of the book, right here, this much of the book, from the front cover to here, all of this is about the solar system. How much did we know about the stars at that time? Well, that is the rest of the book. And the rest of the book is just this much. So this is all we knew about the stars at that time. We didn't know anything about galaxies. We didn't know what the Milky Way was exactly. We knew it was a lot of stars, but that's all we knew. We didn't know how far away it was. And in fact, here's what this book says about it. I'm just going forward a few pages here. There we go. And here's a chapter on the distances to the stars. And it starts out this way. This is in 1839. It says, we cannot ascertain the actual distance of any of the fixed stars, but can certainly determine that the nearest star is more than 20 billions of miles from Earth. But then, 1839 again, on the next page is a little footnote that was added just as this book was going to press. And here's what the footnote says. Very recent intelligence informs us that Professor Bessel of Königsberg has obtained decisive evidence of an annual parallax in the star 61 Cygni, amounting to 0.3136 arc seconds, less than a third of an arc second. This makes the distance to that star equal to the distance it would take light 10.3 years to traverse. So they found out that 61 Cygni was 10.3 light years from Earth. And this is the first time we knew how far away the stars are. So it's really amazing. Now we've had much better determinations of the distances to the stars. We just had the Gaia spacecraft go up, and it made measurements, accurate measurements of the parallaxes to a huge number of stars that are in our Milky Way. So just a fantastic accomplishment. We're really accurately measuring and mapping the Milky Way for the first time. And there's a video about the Gaia spacecraft in this module's videos. So you'll learn about how the distances of the stars are measured, and you'll learn about how their speeds are measured, and all sorts of things. So this is the beginning of studying the actual stars. And it's important to find out, how we do measure these things. That's why on the homework, I'm leading you through some simple calculations that demonstrates how astronomers know everything that they know about the stars. Because as this course moves on from here, you're going to be finding out some amazing things about stars. And I want you to know how we know this for sure, and how we're not just guessing or have some opinion. So that's what Module 10 is about. And hope you enjoy finding out all about that. Now, as far as the sky right now, let's just take a quick look at Stellarium. And here we go. This is what the sky is going to look like tonight. This is Sunday night, July 11th. And this is around 9:30 in the evening. So we're facing west, and this is just close, just after sunset. And you can see yesterday was a new moon, as I mentioned. So this is just a very sliver of a crescent of a moon. But if I zoom in on this a little bit, you can see here's that crescent sliver of a crescent moon. And you can see Venus, excuse me, Venus and Mars right next to each other. And you can see that for the next couple days. For instance, if I go to tomorrow, here the moon has shifted up. You can see a little bit more of the crescent. And now Venus and Mars are very close together. And so that would be sort of a nice sight to see. If you go out tomorrow around 9:30 or today around 9:30 in the evening, you can see that crescent moon just hovering in the sky, and down here, Mars and Venus next to each other. So you can see it Monday, like it is shown here, or the next day. Tuesday, they'll still be close to each other. And Wednesday, they're beginning to pull apart. So there's what you can see in the sky. So take a look at that. Who knows, with the smoke that is filling us from the California wildfires, smoke that's filling the sky, if you'll be able to see anything. I hope so. I'm going to give it a try myself. But I hope you enjoy learning about the stars. This is the beginning of 3 modules that we'll have on the stars. And then the final 3 modules will be on our Milky Way galaxy and other galaxies and the universe as a whole. So enjoy this. As usual, if you have any questions at all, you can ask me. You can send me an email, post a question in the discussions. I'll be happy to set up a Zoom meeting. Come see me in my office, and I will look forward to seeing you next week. So until then, bye-bye.